Hello, my Hunkpapa relatives, my family. I'm speaking to you today from the heart. I'm not perfect, far from it. I know what it's like to be a child hurt by monsters, to be a child thrown away, discarded amidst the chaos of alcohol and drugs, left to navigate the world alone. I know the shame and the guilt that could follow. I know what it is to be a child going hungry, to feel the gnawing pain of extreme starvation, to experience the neglect that so many children suffer. These are pains that stay with you, and it breaks my heart to see any of those shame shadows stretching across our Hunkpapa community again. And because I know these things, I tell you now, I won't stand by in the presence of evil. But through it all, I've also found sobriety, and I try my best to walk the red road. For me, that path isn't about riches or increased social standing. It is about the feeling of being truly alive, free to be human, to be caring towards others. And it is from this place, this journey, that I want to share what's been weighing on me. The grip of alcohol and the meth that often comes with it casts a heavy shadow over our people. It is not just the substances themselves, but what they do to our spirit, to our connections with each other. I have felt the sting of what meth and alcohol can do, how they poison relationships and bring so much pain, even in my own life. And that's a big reason why seeing this spread to our community hurts so much. And this is a hard thing to say, relatives, and maybe a hard thing to hear, but I have to speak this truth as I have come to understand it from my own hard path. I used meth, I used alcohol, and what I've learned, what I believe now is this: drugs and alcohol didn't ruin my life. I was making choices that were ruining my life. These substances by themselves are neither good nor bad. It is the choices we make, the choices we made during life, whether we were under the influence or not. Those are the choices we have to look at. It's those choices we sometimes defend, even as they help wreck our lives. It is our choice to make. Saying drugs and alcohol are your life, or that they are the only ones to blame, can become just another excuse, so we don't have to face our own accountability, our own power to choose differently. And from that desolate place in my own past, a place where I felt discarded, one truth became undeniably clear. If I was to survive, if I was to find any measure of liberation from the cycles that trap us, it would only come through profound, relentless work. This is the conviction I now hold deep in my heart, relatives. It is what I mean when I say only work will truly set us free. For me, this work hasn't been about a job in the Western sense or chasing material things. It is a grueling internal labor of choosing not to destroy myself with every fiber of my being. Might have screamed for an end to the pain. It is the daily commitment to sobriety, the painstaking process of building self-respect from the ashes of what I endured and what I had done. This is the foundation of the only reward that truly matters, the hard-won freedom that comes from within, the feeling of being truly alive I spoke of earlier. Part of this ongoing work for me has also been understanding all aspects of myself, including that I am autistic. This means recognize how I best function and why I might choose solitude over crowds, not as an escape rooted in past loneliness, but as a conscious way to preserve my energy and clarity, to maintain my own balance so I can walk this path. This too is work. The work of radical self-acceptance and structuring a life that aligns with my true nature so I can be a better service to myself and I hope to others. So when I say only work will set us free, I mean the continuous conscious effort to rise above our circumstances, to to heal from the inside out, to build dignity where it's been stripped away, to reclaim ourselves piece by piece. It's the sacred work of confronting our deepest pains, our own contributions to our suffering, and then choosing to construct a life of meaning, accountability. That is, and connection. That that is the work that leads to true freedom. Freedom from the chains of the past, freedom from the grip of despair, and freedom to stand in our own hard-earned self-respect, ready to contribute to the healing of our community. And I was saying this is not to ignore the deep pain that leads us to escape pain or suffering that pushes people towards those things. I understand that pain. But if we only blame the substances, we give away our power. It feels like sometimes we don't have enough places just to be together anymore, to share, to laugh, to support one another as relatives should. And I felt that deep powerlessness too. It's painful, but sometimes that hurt runs so deep. Some might even wish suffering on others, not to feel so alone in their pain or to find some validation. It shows how lost and hurt we can become. And I understand being lost because I myself was so intensely lost that I didn't know which way to turn. In that confusion, I sought the advice of our elders. They were kind enough to share a vision with me. Then they sent me away. They told me I needed to go out to truly see and learn about the ways of Western civilization. They said I would recognize a sign when it was time to return, to bring back what I've learned for the good of our people. That journey started nearly 20 years ago, and all that time I was out there looking for answers that haven't already failed us. Too often what I observed, and what I sometimes still see here, is how much the people can fight each other. We can waste so much positive energy on dividing ourselves, on trying to conquer or pull each other down, instead of focusing that energy on lifting our whole community up. This is a struggle that weakens us and allows these shadows of addiction, alcohol, meth to grow stronger, destroying us from within. And perhaps at the root of so much of this pain, this division, is that somewhere along the way, many of us lost that vital connection to the land, to Unchi Maka, and to our own Hunkpapa spirituality. This disconnection can leave us feeling adrift, ungrounded, making it easier to turn on ourselves or to seek escape in harmful ways. We must speak of another hard truth here, relatives. These vulnerabilities, these shadows that prey upon our people, have been compounded by a profound and persistent failure. Both the federal government and at times elements within our own tribal governments have not adequately fulfilled their sacred trust responsibility to protect us, our children, our way of life from these very evils we confront today. This failure to shield their communities as promised by treaties and by moral obligation has too often left our people exposed and forced us to carry burdens that were never meant to be ours to bear alone. Recognizing this doesn't absolve us from our own choices, but it does place our struggles in the proper context. This context is steeped in history, relatives. We must remember that our Hunkpapa's ancestors themselves are forced into the most heart-wrenching, onerous choices imaginable. To fight to the very death of our way of life, or to listen to the unbearable cries of the starving children, a cry that echoes across the plains as our lands were taken and our sustenance destroyed. The path they chose, the sacrifices they made for our survival, for us to be here today, are etched in our collective spirit. And that history, those sacrifices, including the searing memory of events like the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre, where so many of our relatives, including Hunkpapa, were indiscriminately killed, men and women, children, for seeking spiritual solace and a way to endure to the growth dance. This wasn't a battle, it was a brutal attack, a wound carried by our people through generations. We cannot speak of our journey and understand the depths of our pain without acknowledging such profound and defining tragedies. But I believe, and I know you do too, that this is not who we truly are, defined only by suffering or oppression. We are Hunkpapa. We come from a legacy of strength, of deep community, of looking out for one another. Our ancestors, even in the face of those impossible choices and horrific acts of violence, understood the power of standing together, of healing together. I see that same spirit today in our efforts towards the Hunkpapa economic revival in the dedicated work reopening the Black Horse Trail or the vital Blue Horse Irrigation Project or the inspiring vision for our own Hunkpapa Museum of Natural History. These are powerful signs of our strength, our resilience, our dreams for the future, ways we are trying to find our way back. Yet, in these shadows of addiction, especially alcohol, still test us all. So I'm asking, how do we bring that same focus, the same community energy and spirit we see in these initiatives to healing our people from these addictions and from the pain that causes them? How do we start to really talk about this, both the pain and our part in it, and honestly and with compassion, but also with accountability? How do we begin to rebuild those bridges between us to create those spaces where everyone feels they belong, where they feel seen and valued again? How can we rediscover our connection to the land and our spirit together? How can we support those who are struggling and help them find a way back to themselves, to us, in our own small way? In my own small way, I've been going to the city park playing my flute. Through the music, I am trying to send our prayers, our sharing our collective suffering with their grandfathers, asking that they might pity us and help guide us on our journey through life. At the same time, I hope it brings some comfort and healing to our Hunkpapa relatives there in the park. It's showing me that even small actions can matter. It has to start with us, with acts of kindness, of reaching out, of choosing unity and choosing accountability. We are a resilient people. We have faced so much, and we are still here. Let us find our way back to the heart of our community, back to the land, back to our spirit together. Peleame o pelo, medako ase.